Hello and welcome to my easy to understand guide to this Daily Mirror set text and representation. This video is going to be particularly relevant for you if you're studying AQA GCSE Media Studies, as it currently appears as a set text on that spec. Let's start by having a look at the representation of men. We see men as quite powerful in this set text, wearing suits. They seem quite aggressive, quite successful, strong, masculine, British, especially with Bond. He seems like a cultural icon. So very powerful, positive representations of men. This might reflect the fact that the target audience for the Daily Mirror is predominantly men. By contrast, if you have a look at the representation of women, they're underrepresented on these pages, but also they're represented in a fairly passive way. There's this high angle shot of a woman getting dental treatment, kind of makes it seem like she's quite weak and quite victimized or in need of help. Whereas you contrast that with the kind of images of Bond, women seem much more kind of submissive and powerless. So fairly typical, stereotypical gender representations there. The representations of Barbara Broccoli from the Bond franchise are slightly different. She does seem to have a lot of power. She's pictured in quite wealthy clothing at powerful events. But the article does make it clear that her power does come from the fact that she was given the franchise in inheritance from her father. So ultimately representing men as the ones who are most powerful. NHS patients in this article are represented as neglected. They're seen as suffering, and the Daily Mirror is there to save them. They are the hero in this story. So NHS patients, those working class people, are represented as worthy and needy. And this reflects the fact that the audience for the Daily Mirror is predominantly working class. And so they are the people who are using the NHS on a regular basis, and they will be able to relate to this. If you have a look at the representation of Amazon as a big company, they are sort of represented as a foreign tech giant, very wealthy, very commercial, futuristic. But that representation plays on audiences' fears of Americanization taking over Britain. Trump and America are represented as pretty mad and delusional. They actually use the phrase madness. They kind of like have him with his crown on. He seems mentally unwell, very powerful and authoritarian because of the crown, but also dangerous and someone laughable. And I suppose representing him like this, it's different from the representations of men in the article with the Bond images. But I think the reason is that a lot of Daily Mirror readers are not Trump supporters, and so that's why they've chosen to represent him in this kind of deranged, mad king kind of way. And it also targets British readers in general who are fairly anti-Trump. There is a lack of ethnic diversity on these pages. Obviously, there's a lot of images of Bond who, up until now have been represented or played by all white actors. And I suppose this reflects the fact that the film industry is fairly underrepresentative of ethnic minorities. So women and ethnic minorities may feel fairly underrepresented in these pages. You do see Zelensky from Ukraine on this cover as well, and in this article. You see him with a flag. It makes him feel like a symbol of resistance, a symbol of power, a symbol of democracy. He looks quite dignified in comparison to the image of Trump. So it's a fairly positive representation of Ukraine. And that potentially ties in with the fact that Mirror readers are, probably far more supportive of Ukraine than Russia, for example, and they're very much more supportive of Zelensky in comparison to Trump. The article inside about comedy reinforces the representations that Britain is superior to America, and that will again help to appeal to British readers. So that was my easy to understand guide to representation in these set pages. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos that are going to be relevant for you, including about this set text. And if you have a video that you would like that I don't already have on my channel, leave a little comment below and I'll add it to my to-do list.